Hello, everyone. This is Madeline Dale with the Chapter Goddess, and today I have another amazing author for you. She's one of the few women I've had on the show, and I'm excited to chat with her. Today with me is Miss Ann Miles. So, Miss Ann, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your book and your writing.
My book is called Sorrowfish, and I'm getting ready to come out with book 2, hopefully. But Starfish is the beginning, and it is a book that you can read as a standalone novel if you want to. So if you don't want to get it pulled into a big series, you don't have to. You can read it, and you'll be happy when it's over. It is about a college student, and she gets pulled into a fantasy world called Canard. And in Canard, the music is the magic. So the whole thing is filled with songs. So anyway, she ends up making friends with people there, and craziness ensues. So anyway, I'll just leave it there.
I love it. So it's Sarah and also Tristan, right? Are the characters?
Yeah, Sarah, Tristan, and Dane.
Okay.
Dane is a wizard. Tristan is a bard.
Mhm.
And Sarah is a college student. So I usually say it's a bard, a wizard, and a college student from Kentucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is very creative. Where did you get the idea to put music into the world like you described?
I'm a Christian, and I often noticed that the music in my head would relate to whatever was going on around me. So I called that phenomenon, I called it cosmic DJ. And anyway, one day I was just kind of goofing off, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, wow, that would be kind of a cool story. So anyway, it just kind of developed from there. Yeah.
That is awesome. I've always had music as a big part of my life too. So that I like how you have tied that in. That is amazing.
Thanks.
Your cover also, I have it pulled up, and viewers, you'll get to see that at the end of the show. Where did the idea for the cover come from?
The cover was the bane of my existence for a long time. I'm a graphic designer, so I had to do my own cover. I couldn't pay someone else to do my cover. But anyway, so I did about 20 versions of it, I think. But this is where I landed. And there's actually 2 versions out live. One has kind of a ghost guy in the background, and his name is Theo. He's in the story. Mm-hmm. And then the other one doesn't have him on it because I got lots of feedback that said it's too complicated. So anyway, but the main idea of the story when it starts revolves around a lute. Mm-hmm. So I have a lute on my cover. Yeah.
I love it, especially with the little green. I can't tell if it's kind of reminds me of a plant swirling around it.
Yeah, that's kind of my conception of the song.
I love it. So what does your writing routine look like?
Do I have time that day, and can I fit it in?
I am in the same boat. Oh,
yeah.
So when you sit down to write, do you have anything that you like snack on or sip on while you write? Maybe coffee or tea or anything?
Yeah, I really like Earl Grey tea, so I drink a lot of that. I do drink coffee all the time, but when I write, I try to drink the tea. And then snacks, pretty much whatever's out there. I make brownies pretty much every week, so yeah.
Ooh, that is a good snack. I'm actually gonna hopefully make brownies with my son this evening. So, so the world you've created, where did you get the ideas for the building blocks of the world that the college student from Kentucky gets pulled into?
Okay, well, that world I started building in 1998. So it's kind of a long story, but I was coming out of a period of my life where I was going to be working. Before I had just been a domestic princess. So I knew I was going to be working, but I wanted to try writing. And so I had started world building then. And I came up with the ideas for the different Aries and the Griffins and, all of the pieces that I have in there then. And then 17 years later, I actually started writing, and I pulled all of that material out and put it in. But what happened was I prayed, and I got a poem, which is actually serves as my outline for the whole series. And so that, and then I got a lot of ideas otherwise, and I just think that the ideas come from God. So I guess you could say he gave them to me. but the canard is the name of the world, and a canard, if you know very much about it, has to do with lies. And anyway, and lies and truth are really big in my story. So the world is called canard, but then the rest of it are all pretty normal things. I did go through and add H's to all of my city names just to make them look a little bit more exotic, I guess. But yeah.
That is interesting. I like that. And I like how you have really put thought behind the names and everything, and it has meaning.
Yes. Yeah, it does. So even like the fens and the fells were big things, and I have stories behind their people group. So yeah, there's a lot of detail in there. My editor gets mad at me. She's like, they don't need to know everything. Okay. So yeah.
I like detail like that though, because you want to know more about like the people that are building this world with these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to strike that balance.
Yeah, it is, but I feel like it's good. Do you think you'll have maybe some spinoffs from your series at some point?
I already have a prequel that's going to end up written. Yeah. And then I would like to do some stories with Tabor, who's the head of the Spinners. He's probably my favorite character. I would like to do some short stories with him, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like it. That is awesome. So you published, when did you publish this book?
This was published 2 years ago. It took me 3 years to write it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work on it. That's good, though, because I feel like the more time you put into it, the more you catch and the better the story flows sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been 2 years since it's been published, almost to the day. I published it on the last day of August 2 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Well, happy book anniversary. Or belated book anniversary.
Yeah, thanks.
That is awesome.
Yeah. My writing process got slowed down because I was a ghostwriter. And so I ended up writing another book for someone else during the pandemic, and I didn't get to work on my book, but that's okay because it got me through the pandemic and it helped me, with my style, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you said you're almost done with book 2. Do you have the cover for book 2 already put together?
Yes.
You do? Awesome. Yes. That is exciting. I'm very excited to read the series. Oh, if you could tell your readers and the viewers one thing that they wouldn't know about you by looking at your author page and your blog, what would it be?
I'm a big video gamer.
Yes.
So, yeah, a lot of people know that I'm a gamer, but they don't understand exactly how big a gamer I was. So and it was on my phone. So the game was called Ingress. Yeah. And it was put out by Google, and it was a war game, and you basically played 24/7. So I did that for about 3 years, almost like a job. And I was a global Ingress player. So anyway, I ended up running a great big operation with about, I don't know how many thousand players we had in it, but I was running North America. So,
Wow.
Yeah. And I worked with 85 countries. And yeah, it was a pretty big deal. So, anyway, Google ended up inviting me out to meet the engineers.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I got to have lunch with the engineers and talk to them and learn more about Ingress. And yeah, the whole experience was awesome. So yeah.
That is amazing. And I am completely jealous. I've never played that game, but I have a game that I have been obsessed with for years. I took a break from it just like right after I had my son, and I'm back playing it. It's called War Dragons, and it's on my phone as well. I don't know why, but I can't seem to do like any other games on the computer or anything right now. But I've always been a big like handheld game player. So
yeah,
it's hard not to get addicted to that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I take addiction to a new level. So I try really hard now not to play because if I do, I won't. There's no middle ground for me. I'm either all in or I'm not. So right now I have to be not because I have to write.
Yeah. Priorities, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If you could tell a new writer one piece of advice, what would you tell a new writer?
Love your work, because especially these days, whether you're an indie publisher or whether you go after, something with a big five or even a smaller publisher, if you don't love your work, if you don't stand up for your work, no one else is going to. And you have got to love your work to do this.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So keep working on it until you love it, and don't put out anything you don't love. So I guess that's the biggest piece of advice I have for someone. Because when I first published Sorrowfish, I think I got really discouraged by my editor. I don't think she meant to discourage me. I think she was trying to make it the best it could be. But I took all of her advice and all of her insight really hard. And I went to a Christian speculative fiction conference. It was called Realm Makers. and at Realm Makers, there was one book that swept all the awards. And I got home and I read it. And I was like, my book's better than this. And that just turned me around. But if I hadn't done that, I think I would still be stuck and I would be hesitant about putting my book out there. So it really did make a difference. You have to love your work and you have to be confident in it. Yeah.
I love that. That is great advice. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this is Miss Ann Miles. You can find her work on Amazon. I will have the links to her blog and author site below in the comments. Thanks for being here, Miss Ann.
You're welcome.